Hi, and welcome again to another edition of Market Analysis for today, June 26th of 2024. I'm Giovanni Benacourt, analyst, trader, and educator with Vantage Markets, and this is a recording previous to the open to the U.S. session. Alrighty, so let's take a look at the NASDAQ in regards to news. Well, everything's still about the same that we've been talking about for the last couple of weeks. We're pondering about where interest rates will change. Will there ever be a cut? Is there going to be a cut in July, in September, in December, this year at all? All those things are still on the table. Anything like outside of left field coming in so far, nothing really. Now we just happen to see for this week, obviously the market fluctuation, a retracement, a small correction, okay, that it was really imminent. It was expected to have been seen. And so yesterday we saw how the market after Monday's lower day that it hit, it traded below our level of support of 19,800. It found a bottom. It actually created a double bottom with them basically here with the lower wicks. So we have a double bottom here, and that double bottom indicates a reversal. So that's what we saw in that sense. Now 20,000 is the psychological resistance level, but we basically right there. So I'm just gonna bring down my level of resistance to right around 2,140 and change. Okay, the RSI is in overbought territory, entering, just barely entering. So another move to the upside could be expected, but again, just be cautious about it, because again, the market could again just reverse and trend lower. So for at least for now, between now and the opening, so 20,000 is right here. Let's see if we be met again, and a small movement to the upside could be expected. So as far as the S&P 500 goes, well, we saw that the same token as the NASDAQ, a double bottom has been created. Now, this 5,512 is the support that I have placed since we made this gap. So it has been respected, okay? And we've seen that the market had a little bit of a momentum to the upside, but it's kind of retraced from there. But again, let's just expect a continuation of that. So I'm actually gonna be more cautious in the S&P and have my resistance at 5,550. Okay, then the Dow. Well, the Dow, even though it was doing a better movement to the upside in comparison to the S&P and the Dow, and the S&P and the NASDAQ, I'm sorry, it yesterday did had a lower fluctuation. It did close above our level of resistance, so it broke that resistance. But I'm sorry, it traded the previous day. It closed above it, and the next day it was just barely, basically it trended lower, and we could probably anticipate that momentum will continue today into the Dow. So let's just use 39,200 as that support level. And then we have crude oil. So crude oil inventory is going to be coming out later on today. So we can be expecting, last week we had a negative 2.5 mil. Okay, so if we see something in the same tokens as that number, we could probably see another move to the upside. So I'm gonna just be more cautious in crude oil, and I'm gonna think that it is going to continue to move to trend in this range. So again, another attempt perhaps at 82, but it could also just come back down and look for support at 80. Let's just wait and see what will happen today. But I'll be out of crude oil. Nat Gas. We're seeing Nat Gas. Right, so Nat Gas is basically also yesterday it had a lower trending day. We're trading today below the medium as we speak. So 260 is going to be that level of support, and I'm going to bring down that level of resistance to right about 285. So with Nat Gas, I'm going with the trend, into the trend, which is selling. Gold is getting closer to that 2300 level of support, and I'm just gonna bring down my resistance as well. So gold seems to be giving off some of its luster or its shine. So 2300 is a target, most likely we met. So selling gold today. Silver. Okay. So silver is also, yesterday had a very negative day, red day. Today we are fluctuating right around the level of support that we placed. So I'm gonna use the lower band of the Bollinger Band to place my level of support for it, and 2950 is gonna be that resistance. It did open with a gap down. Okay, it has been closed, but the momentum is to the downside. So I'm just gonna continue selling it. Copper as well. Let's bring down our level of resistance, and let's just use this 445. And our support, I'm also gonna use right below the Bollinger Band 430. Yeah. So selling also the metal, copper. Bitcoin, after having such a strong plunge on Monday, yesterday it recovered. So therefore, 64,000, I'm sorry, is gonna be that level of resistance, and the level of support, 60,000, is going to be there. 62,000 is going to be most likely the pivot point for it. The currencies are looking to stay, obviously looking to sustain themselves around the 107 marker for the euro. Yesterday it had a almost nice day, but it closed closer in the red. Today it opened with a small gap down, so anticipating that momentum to continue. So let's just also go with the sell. Then the pound, having that same pressure to the downside as the euro. Okay, so 126 could be the marker. Initially, the Bollinger Band, the lower Bollinger Band, could be our level of support. So selling it, and the dollar index seems to be doing most of the momentum to the upside. Yields in the 10-year bond are higher, so that's going to be another indication of momentum to the upside for the dollar index. It loads. Okay. Besides that, today, so we'll receive the inventories later on today. We also have new home sales, and on Friday we'll have the core personal expenditure. So that's a strong measurement for the Fed regarding inflation. So keep that in mind. So we saw that the dollar index has fluctuated above our level of resistance. Well, actually came to it. So I'm gonna use the upper Bollinger Band, and 105.75, and still 105 as a support. Have a nice trading day, and I'll see you tomorrow.